Oh, okay, I think it's working. Okay. So I'm just going to walk you through, first I'll make a quick version of your model. But I'm going to walk you through how to basically like make a copy of this thing at each step. And then use that to like generate line work for a diagram. Okay. So the first thing I'll do is make a copy of this actually, because I want one that's just my box. Okay. Then I'll do one with just one simple shape. You guys might have two shapes, I think. So maybe you have one that's just like the outlines of your lofted object. Something like that. And I'll do one where I'm showing the actual geometry, and maybe a final one. Where I'm showing like the all the geometry. And the very last one is the actual shape, so we'll explode this. Okay. So there's a geometry. And then what I would do is I would make in my named views panel like an axonometric angle. I'm going to try and choose one that kind of works for all of these. Actually might flip the whole thing. I could just mirror it all. I think it's easier to look at the shape like that. Okay. I'll choose an angle like that. I'll save it. That way when I'm going in here doing my make 2D, I can repeat things and so on. Okay, so I'll select all those copies. Go to make 2D. I'm not going to use in silhouette. I am going to use hidden lines. Okay. Then we'll go to top view. And that is, I mean, you can go in here and you can clean up the line work a little bit if you want. Change our background. But that's going to be pretty much all you need to go ahead and take it to Illustrator. And then we're going to kind of compose the diagrams in Illustrator. One thing you might want to do in here, I guess, would be just to line everything up because it's faster than Rhino. So I could like make a line, divide it evenly. Okay. There we go. So now we have it evenly spaced, so we don't have to mess around with that. Then I would go select all those line drawings, go to File, Export Selected. Wherever you're working. Save it as an AI file. And yeah, you can choose a scale. I think you can pretty much draw it, well, yeah, let's do like 1/4 inch for now. I don't know if it has to be a particular scale, but it'll just kind of help you fit it on the page and stuff. Okay. So once I've opened it up in Illustrator, the first thing is to change the document size. So at the top you can go to Document Setup, or you can go to File, Document Setup. Click on Edit Artboards. Change the dimensions of the page. I'm going to do 11 by 17. Okay. So this is a little bit small, maybe. So I could select everything, right-click, and go to Transform, Scale, 200%. Okay. Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter if it's sort of perfect or not, but... You can also move things around with the arrow keys. You can do it faster if you hold Shift. Okay. And then I would go in here and start to kind of compose everything. So what I want to do first is maybe just kind of lighten up all the lines that I have now. I could go to my like dashed lines. Go to the color panel, click on the little options, change to grayscale. And I'm actually just going to set them as solid rather than dashed. Also, I could make the line weight lighter. Okay, and then I'll do the same for my solid lines. Just turn down the line weight a little bit. Okay. So what I want to do is basically like choose, you know, a method to like highlight the part of the diagram at each step that I want to focus on. For example, with these, like with this one, what I might want to do is just use the profile lines of each of the curves. I want to make a new layer and put everything on there. And then what I'll do now is choose a color. I would have to go back to color. Okay. The other thing I'm going to do is I am going to keep the hidden lines and solid lines separate. Or the invisible lines, I should say. And I'll explain why later. Now let me just clean this drawing up a tiny bit. I want to add a line right here. Okay. Add a line there. Okay, so a couple things I could do here. I could make this whole object kind of highlighted in the same color. Again, I'm just using the eyedropper tool, which is like the eye on the keyboard, to match it to existing lines. Uh-oh. Okay. Okay. I'm trying to keep everything on one layer. Okay. And then once I have all the line work kind of organized, I'm going to go through and shade everything. Okay. I'm actually going to copy this one as well. Okay, so now I'm ready to like shade things in. I'm just going to use the layers that I pulled apart that I have like the kind of diagram stuff on. And I'm also going to make a new layer here as well. And for each one of these I'm going to go through and kind of copy everything. I'm just selecting everything, dragging it, holding Alt. And I'm just going to fill it. So I'm using the Live Paint tool, which is also K on the keyboard. Fill it with like the same color red. Turn off the stroke weight and stroke color. Now this is kind of one object. I actually want this layer to be below the other layer in the panel, in the layers panel. And I'll set the opacity to like 50 or something like that. I can go through and pull those apart later, but that's kind of what we're looking for, right? We're going to try and shade and highlight each thing. Then with these ones, I'm also going to try to, looks like we missed a line here. I'm also going to try to kind of illustrate the geometry. So I'm going to I'll make a copy. I'll use the paint bucket tool, again, shade it the same. What? Oh, you have to select it before you turn on the paint bucket. Okay. And then, so I'll save that as a swatch, and then I'm going to make a gradient. So I'll open up the gradient panel. You can also get to it by going to Window, Gradient. Then I'm going to select that as my fill color. And what I want to do is edit the colors at either end. So I can drag down my swatch. I can copy it by holding Alt. And then I can edit these ones individually. So first let me go ahead and apply that. Then I'll change my color editing to HSB or hue and saturation, and then I can just desaturate. Okay. Then I would also turn the opacity down on this guy. Make sure it's on the right layer, so it should be below my outlines. And I gotta do the same over here. So with this one I might actually make 2 copies. Because I don't want to like have to deal with these things intersecting. So I'll just delete some of the lines. I'll fill them the same way. So I'll just do one at a time. I also want to make sure I save this gradient. Y. Okay. Not quite sure why they're all rotated differently. So also, yeah, if you break some of those lines, they won't act as like separate things. I really don't know why it won't rotate. What? There we go, now it's rotating. Weird. Okay, the same for these guys. I'll also delete some points first. Using direct select, there we go. Oops, I deleted the wrong points. Okay. So again, I'll keep these separate. Oops. What? Oops. Keep those ones behind. Okay. So that should be enough for you guys to get the idea. You could also go through and like shade the box if you want. You can use different colors. You can use dash lines or whatever you want. This would look better with a dashed. One last thing you could do here. No, actually you can't do it. Never mind. It's fine. It's good. Okay, so I'm gonna end it right there.